How's it going, everybody? Quarterback play calls. You guys who watch NFL and all that might have a clue. Me, new to the whole thing, no idea. So we're going to have a look at this video here called Translating Quarterback Play Calling Language. Let's see how confused we can get with this.
You could do a trade to blue right, F short, fake box 3 week, QB keep pass right, fullback drag slide.
Axe, double right spirit Larry, 735H pup, double K, it's on 2.
Green left west, you shift!
Right, so sports related question. You're hearing them say you can do all this stuff, and then he runs off a list of plays that you can do. How specific are they in that? Is it just a name given to a specific play? What we're trying to ask. So every team comes up with the exact same play, right? And they're going to give it a name so the other team doesn't know what they're calling it, right? Are these calls just that? For example, really, really simply, if the quarterback throws it to somebody and they say, let's call it the green hairy monster. The opposition has the exact same play, quarterback throws it to the same guy, but instead of calling it the green hairy monster, they call it the red dove. Is that what this is about? Or have these plays actually got something a little bit more specific about them?
F short, spider 2, you banana Z over!
It's like a foreign language. You're calling out the personnel, you're calling out the shift, the motion, the protection, and then actually the pass routes.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that's a lot. In one call, they're calling out everything. And it's interesting that they can call out the protection as well.
Out right, pistol! What do you say? 59 laser!
Everything means something. Everything in our offense, it came from somewhere. Maybe it's a term that was used 40 years ago.
Wow.
29 FB Grace.
Maybe it was a term that came up with 4 months ago.
We went to cigarettes. There was Cool, there was Camel, there was Marlboro, there was Kent. A lot of teams use cities' names.
43 Houston. 24 Reno.
Frisco left, 200 JetX Omaha.
Okay, 43 Dallas, ready?
Coaches will see something watching film on Monday, Tuesday. If we get in this formation, we can run them on a deep post, so they call it stutter pass Washington.
So it's very much
Redskins that week, and then it stays that forever.
Red right, 24 double push one.
So it is very much to do with very specific plays. So like any sports team that comes up with a play will have their own name for it, and this is basically that. It's just so that they can understand it. I remember when I used to play rugby, we used to have a play called Concorde, the airplane, which was a very weird play. It was about putting the blind side. You stacked two people up on the blind side, but you had one running around, so you couldn't really see him. And they called it Concorde because it's supposed to be your quickest guy came looping around. So yeah, I get this. I mean, I don't understand it, but I get the concept.
You can imagine it's probably thrown into a football terminology somewhere.
Let's have bear, twist, right.
Probably because it relates to football. You want a bear out there, somebody that's going to attack and be aggressive. Yeah. So there's probably some type of tie there.
Zebra, the Z position, which is what Marvin Harrison plays. Well, he's the Z, so all of his motions will begin with a Z. In other words, zebra means he's going to come in, come back out. Zip means he's just going to come in. ZI, come in. Zap, well, I don't know anything what zap is. I think zap, he comes just, I got
cross.
Zap means.
You're scared to death that you have one mistake. You get some young kid hasn't played very much, and he hears something else.
No kidding.
Doesn't hear what he needs to hear, and he makes a mistake, and you lose the ball game.
Who's the next, Nolan? Okay, let's go. Does he know how to run Sluggo? All right, let's go 200 JetX Sluggo.
So in an effort to make it easier for a lot of players, you've put in a lot of words there that are pretty descriptive, but it sure lengthens the call and lengthens what you have to say on the field.
Let's go double right, scat right, double cowboy. Double right, scat right, double cowboy.
Now,
sometimes I think we coaches, we add more words in than we need because it sounds good. Makes it sound more intelligent. We're speaking a language that no one else can speak.
Right, so basically what he just said there about the coaches will add a lot of words in. Do the players then not go away and... Well, I suppose not, because looking at this, you're getting a lot of info from your coach, aren't you? See, this wasn't something that I've ever experienced in sport, because all of the stuff happens on field. You make the decisions on field. It doesn't necessarily get fed from a coach as such. So I was going to say, coach comes up with this big elaborate play, and the players just condense it down, just make it really simple, real brief. But yeah, obviously, I guess they can't do that.
Let's go. Spread right, fake spear. Play pass 16 counters, Z deep angle.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I like that.
Just the verbiage that is involved, especially in the West Coast offense. Sometimes you wonder, because you know that there are easier ways to say certain things.
Fullback west, right, zoom. Fullback left, pass halfback at 0, Z quick screen left, on 1, right.
But I think because of the expansion of the system over the number of years, they've had to come up with new ways to say certain things.
I think in terms of 62 Excalibur, I think that's a good play you're going to do.
W. Other times it's not as hard. You can just say west right zoom short 2 jet X quick fly wide.
Oh yeah. Oh, you could just say all of that. Like, what happens to simple play calling?
Which doesn't exist, but it'd be a heck of a play if it did.
You know, when you're brought up around it, when it becomes a language that you're speaking almost as much as you're speaking English to your wife or kids.
The problem to me with quick jet and quick scat is if a backer times up an A gap blitz right, he can get through and the back's in a bind, you know, especially if we start off setting them at all. You know, we get into some of these, you know, split long spears and run quick scat, that wheel runs up in the A fast enough or times it just right, and the back's going to come flying in.
Oh, what is this language, man?
You know, this guy's falling at your feet because you're pulling up on 3 steps and it's a little dicey. That's why Rip and Liz was put in.
That's what I love about sports like this. Them two just had a perfect conversation that made absolutely perfect sense to the 2 people that were involved in it. Anybody else, for sure, those guys who know American football, you might have an idea of what he's saying, but realistically, that's going to be so specific for that team. Every team's got their own foreign language that they all know perfectly fine. And to the outsider, it's just a WTF moment.
Green right slot. 96F counter easy. Kill it with H2 Miami.
Double wing left. Run past 98 Willie. Zebra quick post. It's our ball or nobody's. And we're going to come back with split right at Liz. 438 and run it. That's fake cross. Okay?
It's to be a headache when you change systems, because a lot of people run the same system, but the terminology is different.
Right, so that answers the question.
I got 3 playbooks in my head right now. I'm just learning a new one in Arizona.
You know, I mean, I have a play called 22 scat flanker drive wide pivot. I've called that 940 F stop swing. I've called that 60 hot drive. It's exactly.
Oh, mate, go for 60 hot drive.
It's called for a reason. That's why it's called. Okay.
As an offensive player, I think we're just adjusting to what the defense does for us.
Hey, if we get 8, I'm going over 11, zone open, stay.
You know, they've become so much more complex. They bring their blitzes from all over the place. We need to have answers for their blitz. We need to have answers for when they fake blitz. We need to have answers when they drop out defensive linemen into pass coverage. So I think that they would just chill out a little bit, and then we can chill out too. But, I don't think they're going to do that.
That makes sense. So that's quite interesting. Short video. It's very interesting hearing them talk about it because it's relatable as much as it's not relatable. If that makes sense. Relate to it because obviously you play sport, you have these terminologies, stuff that you call plays. You understand that much, and it's not relatable because it's NFL, like it's American football, whatever you want to call it. And obviously there's so much more in depth. Like he was saying, he was calling out the players, he was calling out the defense, he was calling out the pass, the running line, like everything. That's a lot. I mean, for us, like you say, every set play that has its call, people know their lines, so you keep your calls snappy. So you got Concord, you had Spiders, you got like what did you have, like Scissor 6 or something, and the number on the Scissor 6 to find which player you're on about, sure, but you know, you could have had Scissor 1 or Scissor, I think it went up to like 10. But the call's simple. Everybody knows, okay, this is where I need to be, this is where that, like, it's none of this crazy play, like this is the guy that I'm going to throw the ball to, this is where I want the blockers to be, this is where you know what I mean? I'm very interested in that side of it all, actually, in a very strange way, because I think it opens up to a broader thing that I didn't think existed. Anyway, peace out. Thank you very much for this video. Catch you again next time. Bye.